everybody, and welcome back to the beautiful JW Marriott here in Phoenix, Arizona. And I have the pleasure of being joined by a rather remarkable individual I've had the pleasure of getting to know a little more last year, Lisa Davis, the newly appointed administrator of the National Energy Management Institute. First off, Lisa, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. It's been a whirlwind few months, but it's definitely been amazing with the team that we have.
Now, for folks that are not familiar with your story, it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, it's just neat. Just fill us in, like how you got from point A to a career in the trades.
Sure, yeah. It's definitely not linear. So I started out in the medical industry and wanted to be a surgeon. So went to college at UC Davis, and my freshman year at college at UC Davis, I got into a surgical internship program with Baylor College of Medicine and MD Anderson and the VA hospital in Houston. So I was helping to perform surgeries at 19 years old. It was pretty remarkable, actually, of an experience. And I decided that I was going to move up to Portland, Oregon to go to medical school at OHSU. And when I got there, I kind of woke up one day and was like, I don't want to do this today. And the next day was the same. I don't want to do this today either. I should probably find a job. And so I found a job as a perfusion assistant, working in open heart surgery, trauma surgery, and orthopedic surgery. And I quickly burnt out and moved to Hawaii, like we all do when we burn out, like we do. I worked on a farm there, and I did small engine repair. I worked on a sod cutting farm for a while, and I worked at the only bar for 75 miles. When I felt like it was finally time to grow up, I moved back to Oregon and thought, okay, this is really my chance. I had kind of helped make extra money in college by being a mechanic at a bowling alley. So also not, every day that you run into a mechanic at a bowling alley. They called us pen monkeys. Not every day that you run into people who do that, but that was one of my favorite occupations, was as a mechanic at a bowling alley. So I returned to that. And the second go around was not wonderful. I was working for minimum wage. There was no benefits, and it wasn't safe or enjoyable work. Let's just say that. So one day I was searching through Google, and I said, Google, what can a woman do in the trades? Am I even allowed to be in the trades? And an amazing community-based organization called Oregon Tradeswomen popped up. They have a pre-apprenticeship class, and I joined. They help familiarize women with job sites. They work on Habitat for Humanity houses. They bring groups of students to different job sites, to different union organizations, and to different contractors. And I thought, well, I really like working with metal. So I'm going to apply with the UA and with the sheet metal workers. And the sheet metal workers called me first, so I haven't looked back since.
And the really neat thing is that as you kind of progress in your career, your desire to become an educator overall really kind of stood out. Tell us about your work with General Sheet Metal's apprenticeship program, just kind of laying the foundation for not only a great program to build the workforce, but also really build a great labor management partnership.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was so fortunate to work for General Sheet Metal. It was an amazing opportunity. One, because General Sheet Metal did so many things. I was able to do some architectural work, I was able to do some industrial work, I was able to do some high-tech work, I was able to work in the shop doing some fab work. So really, I was exposed to so many things. And when they diversified and decided to open up a service section of their business, they held sort of tryouts, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to. I was like, why not? And they were like, well, like, you're a mechanic. Why not you? I was like, yes, why not me? Let's do it. And so I joined the service division for General Sheet Metal, and I started taking classes for the service program at the local training center at the same time that I was going through the Building Trades Apprenticeship program. And I was asked to teach part-time as well, eventually. And so really the educational aspect for me is that I can never stop learning. Really, I feel like I can just devour all sorts of knowledge about anything. I'm one of those people. I often tell students this throughout my career. I'd say I ruin movies for people. I'm one of those people.
Oh, so am I.
Yeah, right.
So am I. Not great.
Right. You're like, no, okay, so really wouldn't
Yeah.
happen like that. And the movie told, do you know, like, yeah. So I'm one of those people who ruins movies. But I also just love learning, and I love passing on that knowledge. One of the best things for me is to see a light bulb go off over someone's head, and to help pass on skills for other people that no one can take away, right?
So it's great, that kind of inspiration to be an educator and that inherent constant curiosity just to learn, absorb. And tell us now about, because I mean, you go for this wonderful journey and now you're in a position with NEMI, which the heart of its mission is education. Tell us just how you got here, because it's a crazy journey, and it's just kind of, it's a great story.
Yeah. So I went from teaching at a local training center to teaching with the International Training Institute. And when I had the opportunity to come over to the National Energy Management Institute, it's kind of like itching or scratching an itch in your brain that's new, right? Firing new neurons.
Yeah.
I kind of liken it to learning how to brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand, right? You're like, so you're still doing the same task, but it's with a different hand, right?
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a different aspect. And for us over at NEMI, what we help do is we help local areas, local JATCs, locals, local contractors, come together and facilitate implementation in their areas of a different job scope. And so really market opportunities might be something in a scope of work that they may not have decided to break out into yet. A market opportunity might be something that our industry does, but maybe not in a certain geographic region. So for us, it's really seizing on that opportunity, but bringing together all of the stakeholders and really educating and making awareness for all of these folks on the opportunities that are there, and really how working together to best implement that and to seize that opportunity. So part of that also lends itself to creating awareness for building inspectors, for legislators, for all of the stakeholders, whether it be fire marshals, et cetera.
So, Lisa, we've had the opportunity to work together on Be For All. And to me, I think there's so many easy arguments to be made for the need to build a workplace where everybody feels like they belong. What progress have you seen in your time as a member of the trades and now into a leadership position within the trades? What kind of progress have we made, but what else do you think we can still do?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think for me, talking about a lot of things that have originally or still do have a lot of stigma around them is really important. So even in front of a classroom, I would take a few minutes every week to say, hey, we're going to learn about each other. We're going to talk about everybody's lives, because going through the apprenticeship program, that's really the time in people's lives where they're getting different jobs, they're settling into their place, they're getting married, they're buying a house, they're having kids, they're doing all of these really wonderful things that are also life changes and can be really stressful, right? So even really good changes can be stressful changes. So we're going to learn about each other, and that's something that we've found at Be For All is extremely important. Is to just sort of individuate, right? Is to learn about each other, and in a way that's non-threatening, and in a way where you can say, hey, me too. I also go through some of those things. And in changing some of those aspects about our culture, it's a way to help lessen that othering of people. And so in that way, we help create a space that's welcoming to everybody, in our differences and in our similarities.
And I like that term othering, because I know I've had to confront a lot of my personal biases that I may have, just inherent. Maybe I'm not outwardly thinking about them, and it's really impacted me on not only how I approach people on an individual basis, but also just as a professional, like, and just kind of look past like my perception and kind of think about what kind of maybe not even just like look past like the differences, but look at the shared experiences we have. Like there are things that kind of come. I mean, you and I, much like you, I for different reasons, I've moved all over the country in my life, and it's those shared experiences. Those are things that can tie us together, and I think we can go a long way if we focus on what brings us together rather than what initially we think would drive us apart. And I think that kind of mentality, I think, goes a long way to accomplish that goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when we come to an idea of changing culture, I liken it to we're drilling stainless, right?
I love that.
So it's going to take a while, and sometimes you can't go too fast because you'll burn the drill bit, right?
Yeah.
So we just have to be stand sort of firm in our values and be sure about the direction where we're headed, and I think that's what we're doing, right? So we have the committees, the different committees that we've created, the RISE committee on the SMACNA side,
Yep.
We've created the RISE committee on the SMART side through the Be For All initiative, and we've helped implement a lot of the educational awareness through the learning journeys and the bathroom kits that have been sent out. I think that a lot of those things in their entirety working together from all of these different fronts is really helping towards that initiative goal.
I completely agree. And I'm looking forward to the future. Lisa, thank you so much. Best of luck on your new role. I know on behalf of SMACNA, we're looking forward to your partnership. We're looking forward to a great working relationship that I think will benefit our industry as a whole. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Pleasure.